everyone. All right, this is another Little Bites, and I think you all know Jennifer. Do you guys remember Big Biscuit Shredded Wheat from way back when? Well, we found it again. Yeah, we thought it was gone, but it was back.
Maxwell and I had talked about in one of the full-length episodes about how we thought that this was gone. It wasn't on the shelves anymore, but we found it.
Yeah. So, what are our nutrition facts? I guess.
All right. So let's see. There are 8 servings in this container, and a serving is 2 giant biscuits.
Oh wow.
I think today Maxwell and I will each eat 1 giant biscuit. The calories, that's that good energy, 180 and 41 grams of carbohydrate, and oh my goodness, 0 added sugar.
That's pretty good.
What does it contain? Whole grain wheat.
Okay, great.
All right.
Sounds good to me. This is like one of the first episodes we filmed, so that was back with me and Faith. So
yes, way back when it was Maxwell and Faith, and they would review cereals, and there was barely any of the friends. Bowler, Spider, Crafty Cat.
I think Spoonie popped up once.
Yeah. See, so instead of one of those plastic bags, you guys, this has a lot of these paper bags, and there are 3 biscuits in each bag.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, isn't it?
Because
a serving size is 2 biscuits.
But I guess you can fold up the bag again.
Yes, you can fold up the bag again. It rips open very easily.
Nice.
Maxwell, would you like to take 1 big biscuit?
Absolutely.
We're both going to be spooners today, you guys.
There's a little bale of wheat.
Yeah, doesn't it look like a little bale of wheat?
Yeah. And
or straw. Yeah, it looks like a little bale of straw.
And what you do is you basically just pour the milk over that, and then just kind of break it up in the milk, and there you go.
Should I be a snacker instead, you guys? Should I just be like...
Well, I mean, what are your thoughts? Is it like a bale of hay? I'd say pour the milk.
I do feel like a little farm animal.
All right, but so Jennifer, today, I mean, you do a lot of different things. You write, you edit, you compose, you direct, you act, but like today you specifically wanted to talk about writing scripts. So talk to me. What kind of things would you like to share with our viewers?
Well, I was really lucky, you guys, because when I was a kiddo, I went to a public school of the arts. It was an alternative school that, even though it had all the things that other schools have, it had math and history and science, and all of the topics kind of had a artistic flair to them. Like art was brought into all of the topics in some way or another. So I learned to like a lot of different fields of art. Like I love art in math, and that's why I design the rules for games, for lack of a better way to describe that. The core mechanic, the rules for games, that's one of the things I do. That's very creative. Like Max was saying, I both build things out of wood. That's a kind of art, carpentry. Yep. I build instruments and I play those instruments. I make music with and build harps. I write novels and children's books, and I act in films. But one of the things that I thought was an interesting crossover that I thought you guys might really enjoy is one of the main things I do here at Blue Forge is I write scripts. So yes, I write some scripts for Seriously Serial, but I also write scripts for short films and long films like you would see in a movie theater. Let me take a bite.
No. Yeah, it's pretty good. It tastes like if you've ever had frosted mini wheats, it just basically take away the frosting, and it's actually pretty good. It soaks up a lot of the flavor of the milk, so like the sweetness or what have you. It comes from the milk. So I know milk isn't very sweet, but like if you had like a sweeter milk or what have you, then it would go in here because that's the whole point.
And milk does naturally have a sweetness to it.
A little bit, a little bit.
And I agree. When I just took that bite as a snacker, there was absolutely no sweetness. It was all savory. It was almost an earthy flavor.
Yeah.
But even just adding a little bit of milk, it brings out the sweetness of the cereal. Just the natural sweetness of the wheat, the deliciousness of the wheat. So with writing a script, you guys, the stories that I write for scripts are stories that I know the visual part of the story is the most important part, the images of the story. That's how I know that something should be a script instead of a short story, a children's book, or a novel. Is I look at what is most important. If the dialogue is most important, I think, oh, that's probably a stage play, like a theater play to go on stage.
It's good to know like what medium best fits your story.
Yes, absolutely. I always think about that, and I think, what medium would be best?
Is it like a card game? Is it a book? Like, is it a video game? Like, all things to consider.
One of the things I really love about script writing, and one of the biggest things I wanted to share with you guys, is that I knew I wanted to write from the time that I was very, very small. And I like to write lots of different things, probably because I was exposed to lots of different kinds of art in school.
Yeah.
But a script is one of those things that you can write where you wind up being not alone. If I'm writing a novel or even a short story, I write it by myself, I revise it, I turn it into my editor gives me feedback, and then it's done. So that's just two people, me and an editor. But with a script for a film or a script for a stage play, I write it, I can still show it to my editor, I can revise it, but then it goes to all the actors. And I work with all the actors. Often I'm also the director. That's kind of like the leader on set who tries to keep the story on track.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to then your story, all these people then join your story to help tell that story.
Yeah.
So it's being a writer, but you don't have to do it so much alone.
Yeah.
And so that's really fun.
That's a nice way of describing it.
Now, Maxwell, you've written scripts before.
I have. I don't write as many scripts, but I have written a couple. There was this one script I wrote that was for this film festival for like older kiddos and teens, so like PG-13, I'd say. But it was based off of a real thing of mine. Basically, it was the concept of weird thoughts at night keeping you up. And I don't mean scary thoughts, I mean weird thoughts, like bizarre thoughts. And it was basically just my character just in bed, just like he's trying to get to sleep for work tomorrow, but like all these random thoughts keep popping into his head, and it was just like a rapid fire comedy type thing, and I still like that one. And I've also written like a horror film. Mostly though, I do write like novels and whatnot. I
And
write
short stories.
and short stories. I write for a lot of our anthologies, our horror anthologies. I believe I also wrote for like a monthly prompt series. So yes, and I've also written a couple. I've been writing for a long time. When I was 9 years old, I published my first book. It was about this superhero squirrel named Baby Squirrel. He wasn't a baby squirrel, but that was just his name. I don't know why, but well, okay. His parents were named Mommy and Daddy Squirrel, so I guess it was just family theme naming. But what do you name your kid? Baby.
It's like when little kiddos, they'll get their first pet, and if it's a kitty, they'll name it Kitty.
Yeah.
Or, they'll name their first pet who's a fish, Fishy.
Or would that be like Squirrel-y? But yeah, that I released that. I'd actually like to revisit that series one day. Maybe find a less silly name. But yeah, I've written a lot of different things. So it's definitely fun, like writing in different styles. And the other thing I do is just for practice, I'll often just to like hone my writing style, and I write fan content. I don't even like publish it. It's just literally just for me. It's with like other people's characters. And I actually think what a nice thing about writing fan content is one, it's good practice, and I think that's great. But two, it actually, if it's a character you really like, and you want to like make a tribute to that character, good fan content, like really buckling down and like doing your research about a character or series, it helps you figure out how to write a consistent character. So like a character whose personality doesn't shift every like chapter, and learning how to do that lets you figure out how to do like your own characters as well, how to write your own characters as well, and like make them act how you want them to. Like so often I'll see characters, original characters, that like they are stated to be one way, but like they'll act an entirely different way. Like it's like completely inconsistent. It's so weird.
Do you guys know what Max says when he's talking about character consistency? It's
Yeah.
like if you have a character who is a really friendly and kind person who sells cupcakes,
Yeah.
and that is a big part of their personalities.
Yeah.
They run a little cupcake business and they're a very kind person. But then if in the third episode they're walking down the street and they push someone aside, or they trip someone at the playground, that's not consistent
Yeah, that
with that
doesn't- that doesn't
character.
make sense.
We can all have bad days, but if someone is a truly kind person and they're having a bad day, maybe they would be, sad, or, they would be not inspired to make the best cupcakes, but they wouldn't just suddenly be super mean.
Yeah.
So what Max is saying is, writing fan content allow really research that character, watch everything or read everything about that character, and then think to yourself, how would that character act in this story or environment that I want to create, and that is really good practice.
Yeah, it's a good framing device for how would this character that is totally original to me, how would they react in this environment?
Yeah. So this summer, all summer long, we're going to be doing little bites just like this. And Maxwell, who is an artist, he's a grown-up who is an actor and a writer and an effects designer. So
Yes,
many
that's it.
different artisan parts live within Max. He contains multitudes. Maxwell is going to be interviewing a lot of other grown-up artisans that are writers, composers, musicians,
Yeah.
and actors, and just so that you, and game designers, so that you guys can see some grown-ups who work in the arts,
Yeah.
because that's really cool. And you know what else is in the arts, you guys?
Yeah.
Content creation. Just like making Seriously Serial, or making another show that maybe you watch on the internet or
Yeah.
on television, depending on where you watch Seriously Serial. So Maxwell's going to interview folks and talk to them about what they love about art and why they started to do it.
Yeah. And speaking of why we started to do things, let's talk about my scores for Big Biscuit Shredded Week. Because I feel like...
Five.
Okay, well, I do have to say, I feel like back in the day I gave this a low score, but this was also, I believe, I don't think it was the first one that posted, but I believe this might have even been the first one we filmed. And because it was the first one we filmed, I didn't really have as like much of a general idea of the like wide range of cereals that are out there. Specifically, I never had Funko at that point, so that kind of set the bar for how low you could go. But
The Funko cereals had a dye in them that was so strong,
Yeah.
it had a really icky taste.
yeah, check out our review I did with Emmanuel, right? Yeah.
That's right, with Emmanuel.
About the Funko cereal that tied into the band The Struts. Yeah, that is a good example of that. That's
Yeah.
a little more recent episode.
You know, Emmanuel's an
So-
actor too.
Yeah, it's true.
Talk
Yeah.
about a lot of the
Yeah.
people we have actually had as guests on the show. We know them because they work with Blue Forge as actors or authors or game designers or filmmakers.
Yeah, and yeah, that's just kind of what we're tied in with these little bites. You know, if you want to watch something, then let's give you something creative and encourage you to be creative in summer too.
Yeah.
And but okay, Big Biscuit Shredded Wheat. It's not really my thing, but I appreciate that it has no sugar, and I appreciate that it is exactly what it says it is. And having it as a spooner as opposed to a snacker, it is good. It's it's a little bit hard to eat once you get down to the cribbles, but it's not bad all in all. And I would say it gets a solid 3.
Yeah.
I'd say if you want just something that's just like good wheat that you can just put into the milk and just enjoy, yeah.
It reminds me, once you pour the milk on it and you crush it into bite-sized pieces, it reminds me a lot of oatmeal.
Yeah,
Of like
yeah,
a
actually,
good oatmeal.
yeah.
And you can add sweetener, you guys,
Sure.
but and also to be honest, on the box, they show adding honey, yogurt,
Yeah.
fruit. I mean, you could do any of
Yeah.
those things. I think what I like about it is it's just a good base cereal that
Yeah.
I can have just like it is, because I like earthy, grassy things
Yeah.
like matcha and shredded wheat. Or you can add fruit or flavored chocolate milk. Oh my, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think that's another reason why it's good. I give it a 3 because it's a good like base,
Ah.
so you can just kind of like change it however you want.
For the rest of the summer, you guys, our little bites are going to be between 10 and 15 minutes long,
Yeah.
so that you can get out there and spend as much time in the summer sunshine as you would like. We are going to post little bites every Saturday at 11 a.m. in June, July, and August. And if we have any other exciting cereals that come out, we might do a surprise post on another day of the
Yes.
week. All right. Enjoy your summer, you guys,
Yeah.
and we'll see you at least every Saturday morning.
Be creative. See you next time.
Have fun, guys.
Start your day with silly and safe. Start your day with sassy and sage. Sincerely, simply, seriously cereal.